What happened to Nickelodeon to make it go from this
Hey, Grandma,
Yes, number 9?
you're the best.
So are you, Arnold.
to this?
We really don't know anything about this money you speak of, unless it looks something like this. Bam!
Bling, bling.
$1.
$1.
What you just saw were two different cartoons that were airing at different times for the same generation of kids. First was Hey Arnold, a show created by Craig Bartlett and airing in October of 1996, depicts life growing up in the inner city as a kid, revolving around a boy with a football-shaped head named Arnold. The second was Fanboy and Chum Chum, a show created by Eric Robles about two kids who are wannabe superheroes and get into unrealistic situations based on their annoying personalities. Now before I get into this, I am not in any way making this video with intent to bash Fanboy and Chum Chum. In fact, going back and watching the series again, I actually enjoyed the silly antics and humor, as well as the parodical satire the series takes on other shows and movies. It will be more used as a comparison example to back up what I have to say throughout the video. What I'm really here for today is to ask the question of, what happened in Nickelodeon? Why did the subject matter of their cartoons have to become so dumbed down towards their audience, which stays in the same age range? In order to do this, I feel like we need to go back into the child-sized shoes of adolescence and see how it differs from that of a kid that was born in the early to mid-2000s of Generation Z to someone who was born in the end of the millennial era and the beginning of Generation Z. Back in 2004, the variety of cartoons to watch on Nickelodeon during the day was such a vast amount, almost never ending. There's Rugrats, Rocket Power, Hey Arnold, and all the regulars you love. Even new shows starting to better suit a growing brain, such as Drake and Josh and Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Even Danny Phantom, shows rich with deeper meanings and entertainment for the whole family to enjoy.
Would you like to take an stimulating free dance class?
Oh,
Gee,
no,
I don't think my
I'm up
husband would-
well, did you say stimulating?
We went back to our hut. It was the hottest night the jungle ever had. Oh, there was... Okay, Arnold, time for bed.
Now let's jump ahead 6 years to 2010. 12 to 13 years old. TV starts to become less of an important role as you grow older. As a result, retention and views suffer on these golden cartoons. Now a whole new wave of adolescent kids need shows to stimulate their growing minds. However, they're welcome with media that is slightly different from what children from the 90s had growing up.
Only a bad haircut?
This is the worst haircut I've ever had in my entire life! I'm pretty sure!
Could you do me a favor and hand me that?
Who's that? A robot monster tooth puller?
No.
Triple-headed beast trapper?
No, I
A
need...
statue of a prancing fairy prince?
Where did you... No, just stop for a second and let me...
Finland, finale, fingerling potato.
What are you doing?
Thanks for the ride!
This I'll let slide. This was actually a good piece of work. Obviously, looking at these shows side by side, you can see the difference in characters, dialogue, and plot, and start to wonder, why did the quality start to decline? One thing to think about is the economic term, kids getting older younger, or KGOY. An example of this would be that back in the 50s, a doll's target age range was for girls 3 to 13 years old. Present day, a doll's age range for girls would barely make it past 5 years old, because by this time, they already have some sort of smartphone or tablet for limitless amounts of entertainment for them. So why need a doll? We could really compare this directly to what's happening to cartoons now as well. Hey Arnold was a show that could be watched by the entire spectrum of age and be enjoyable for all. Whereas for Fanboy and Chum Chum, or Breadwinners, I can't imagine any kid being older than 8 watching these shows, unless it's just on as white noise in the background while they play on their phones or play their video games. Which I get, Nickelodeon had to keep up with the times, so to speak, matching the taste and trends in a business where viewer retention is everything. It just feels like with simplifying their shows, they're also infecting the intelligence of their viewers in a crucial way.
Third time this month the Packers ended up in there.
That good-for-nothing Councilman Gladhand. I complained to his office again just yesterday, but nothing. We all know and love our neighborhood much better than Gladhand does. He should fill up these potholes.
Mr. Green for councilman!
Why don't you listen to reason for once in your life and come home?
Nothing doing. I'm gonna save this building.
What a great-looking boy. He's got my chin.
And my third eye.
Don't encourage her.
Growing up with subject matter like this, I feel like it did several things for me. It increased my vocabulary.
Why don't you come out of your room right now and have a nice cheese sandwich?
I can't, Dad. I'm too forlorn. melancholy, and wistful.
I learned actual facts and information,
Listen, Chaim.
Do you have to call me that? I'm Harold.
Chaim is a wonderful Hebrew name. It means life.
as well as making me want to question my surroundings and authority around me and not just follow rules and directions blindly.
This young boy is on a mission to save an old tree from the bulldozer, and you just sit there and hand us some forms. Well, we won't take this lying down. We'll take our fight to the streets, to the heart and soul of this land.
All of this in return gave the average young viewer back then a deeper sense of critical thinking versus this new age of cartoons where I can't find any instance of a deeper meaning or a valuable lesson being taught anywhere. Just silliness and average humor and entertainment. This also starts to make me wonder, will we ever see an era of cartoons as great as the 90s ever again? Was that the peak for Western animation for kids? All the others I have to turn to is reliving the nostalgia of these cartoons or anime. If so, it's rather tragic and sad, but at the same time, I feel honored and humbled to have grown up in what you could say was a revolutionary era of cartoons, where you could push the boundaries of what was considered appropriate or correct. Old Nickelodeon shows were able to stimulate my brain in a way that today's newer ones never could.
Stay off the slide till you're two.
I love every day of our lives together. I'm looking forward to living near my mom and dad and watching Arnold grow and learn more and more. I feel so lucky. I would do anything in the world for my lovely Stella and for our dear little son, Arnold.
It makes me feel bad for the younger generations, whom a majority of are already growing up with a state of mind that involves a lot less complicated thinking than one of the past.
Come on, Neutron! Do one of your brain blast deals!
Funny monkey.
Obviously, the change of cartoons didn't do this alone, but I'd say it definitely has an influence on how it changes a kid, especially since it's the most impressionable time of one's life. So what they're exposed to can affect a great deal of their brains and what they think about and how they think as well. For as much TV as I've watched, I kind of chuckle to myself when I see these poorly made cartoons and live action shows that Nickelodeon is putting out nowadays, and all I want to say to the younger generation of watchers is turn off the TV. Get outside or watch something with more depth. Becoming what I used to roll my eyes at as a kid is a wild and scary self-realization.
Near death or no near death, Big Bob Pataki's had an epiphany.
A what?
A life-changing experience, Miriam. A total stinking wake-up call.
Who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe one day again, Western animation will be able to put out a show that'll be the next Hey Arnold of a generation. Another show that won't be afraid to force the viewer to think harder, to listen more, to grasp a point or a message the creator wants to deliver to their audience through their work, through this art form of storytelling. It truly holds immense power that it seems to have been lost throughout the time that has passed.
It's the art of self-defense. Be as the frog in the pond.
Do not seek the fly will come to you. You keep saying that, Grandma. What do you mean?
You know.
Is it that you don't go looking for trouble, because that causes more trouble, but that it's okay to stand up for yourself and grab the fly when it comes to you?
Oh, something like that.
Maybe someone watching this, or someone younger than me, will empathize with my frustration, and one day go on to create a cartoon that will make my old man self smile by giving me that same old feeling of watching a truly nostalgic and incredible show such as Hey Arnold, and it will bring a tear to my eye. I hope you all enjoyed my little rant here on Nickelodeon, and if you stuck around this long, maybe consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I really enjoyed making this and have a few more in the vault to come, so be sure to stick around and keep an eye out. Thanks. Peace, y'all.
Boo.